Good morning, Mama, and welcome back to the Empty Nest Mom podcast, where today we're exploring more of the heart of life after the kids have grown and left the house and it's quiet and what kind of follows after that. I'm Mandy, and this is Lauren, and today we're your hosts. This one's for the days, mornings, nights when it's just you with a single plate at the dinner table. The house is still and quiet, and there is no laughter from down the hall, and that has become just a memory. And the only sound that you're hearing is that low hum of the refrigerator or the air conditioning. If you have ever felt this ache of sitting at a table for one, and wondering what's next, you're not alone. And this morning, we're going to talk about it and maybe try to find a new meaning, even some beauty in that quiet. Some nights I cook for just one, just for me. There's a lot of silence. I felt a lot of silence initially, and the echoes of the memories of hollering for the kids, it's time to eat. And then waiting for them to come and, getting a little bit irritated probably on why are you not coming? Your dinner's getting cold. There's all these little things that you're, sitting there feeling all while you're probably not there sitting and feeling this is actually going to end. At those moments, you're probably sitting there kind of probably like you, a little bit of like, oh my goodness, when does this end? And so you never quite feel like you're going to miss it. You think about those things, but then you think, oh my goodness, am I really, really going to miss this? For years and years and years, I juggled dinner, whether it was I made it, and it was always a joke too because I owned pizza shops, and it was always the joke that I didn't cook, but I actually do cook, and I can cook pretty good. Now it's just a decision that I make whether I want to cook or not. And I got to be honest, HelloFresh has been like my amazing thing right now. And I have even had that on our socials about cooking with that, what it's like, showing you some different things and, when I'm unpackaging and how I'm cooking it with it. But it has been a lifesaver for me, especially when you just get tired and you don't want to cook out or eat out with it and you just kind of want to cook with it. But, they do a two-person meal, but not a one-person meal. So then I have leftovers usually from it with it. But so for years, I juggled that whole family and, softball practice and gymnastics and trampoline and tumbling and competitive and volleyball and school and, theater and DECA and, all those things with you guys on it. And it was chaos and joyful all in one on it. But now I look back and it's like I've told you sometimes I miss it a little bit, it's kind of one of those things. I was full and loving those motions. I don't think I ever had an empty house or a house where it was just even me and you guys. We always had friends or someone over that we were always kind of intermingling with and doing things. And now that the motion has really slowed down, like we don't have all that chaos, it's gone. There's still warmth per se, and there's still love in my home, especially like when you guys come on it, but it's almost different. It's a
Yeah,
pause. It's a moment, just those moments are just me.
right. But it also, like you said, it's when we are able to be at your house.
Yes,
So,
yes. So it's a lot fewer and farther between, with it. And so then it's left me to where I struggle now and say or have struggled more earlier on with this, which is why one of the decisions we made to do this was who am I now? Who am I now and where do I want to go from here? And for me, I've never wondered really who I was. I've always felt, out of place. I never felt like I belonged where I was, where I grew up and in the town that I was. And, I always had this feeling of wanting more, something and not materialistic things, wanting more fulfillment. With it. And I love helping people and doing those things. And so for years, I looked at those things and I'm like, I want this freedom. I want this freedom to be able to go help moms. And I want this freedom to go and be able to make these choices and do these things. So it's not just missing the noise and the chaos that we never thought that we would miss. it's missing the version of yourself that existed when you were constantly needed. You know, when our hands were always full and we were always stressed and we were always trying to juggle what was next. And at the same time, everyone was still calling your name, needing something and needing help, which is exactly where you're at right now.
And you actually miss it?
It is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It is crazy that you do miss it. And it's just this really weird way because you spend your whole life from a point of being, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait till I get out of the stage," and it's this next stage, and then you do, because I promise you, I never thought that I would miss it, but the adjustment comes in adjusting to getting to be yourself again. Because for so long, you're not getting to be exactly who you wanna be, and you're thinking in your head, "Oh, I wanna be this person, I wanna be this version." So, that's where my quiet table comes in. That's how I think of it with it. It's kind of a mirror that I use for reflection. So and I constantly keep my mind busy. Who am I now? What do I want now? Where am I going next with it? So, here's the good news. The question, it's not a punishment. I see it as an invitation. So I think it's a little bit about how you think and how you present those things, and not just to everyone else, but to yourself. I don't feel like we give ourselves enough as moms and women, give ourselves enough back. And so, and then I know a lot of times, even for me, and I don't know how you feel, but as I'm coming along and stuff, and like I'll see myself and think about it and be like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't feel this way. But it's okay to feel that way, but it's also therapeutic for you to look in the mirror and say, "Who am I now?" Just really just look at yourself, and that's okay. So these transitions should not be punishments. They should be seasons of life where they're transitions and we can make those changes on it. So to me, it's where we can begin again. Let's start over. This is our do over. So, you know, tiny rituals that become sacred acts for reclaiming myself. They don't have to be elaborate. You don't have to post them on Facebook with some wonderful, beautiful picture. You don't have to tell everyone in the world, hey, I'm okay and I'm doing great. So, even if it's trying something like this, like light a candle, have the have your little dining room table or your big dining room table or your bar or your coffee table in front of you. Light a candle, get, some cool music or something that's nostalgic for you, and sit there and eat or cry. Do whatever you need to do, even if it's just crying. Because I know for me, like, and something weird that I've started doing that I'd read on it is that playing Beethoven Fifth Symphony helps your plants, and those things with it. And I redid my plant area, but it also helps stimulate disease and stuff with it, like to help cure and to prevent. And so, what's it hurting, right? And if it brings me joy, that's what I'm doing, and maybe an added bonus
Well,
on it.
and then when I FaceTimed you the other day and she answers the phone and it's just her sitting there in her comfy little outdoor couch with her Beethoven playing and she's like, "Yes." I was interrupting that moment and I did not mean to.
Yeah, yeah. But the other thing is, like, use the good dishes for you. We bought them and we were excited to buy those because that was like the good dishes.
Mhm.
Use them for you. 'Cause you are worthy. You are important. Your presence is important, and you deserve that beauty, that time, that just even those little things. You deserve that. So, the small acts that you do help transform things. So, even if it's the dinner and the lighting the candle and knowing it's going to be just me, that's still important. If you're a single mom and you have children and you have one person that's gonna watch them, and just to do those things and then watch a movie. Watch the movie that you want, that you have said, "When the kids leave, I'm gonna get to do those things." No, do it now. And I know you get tired of me saying that, "No, do those things now. Do it now. You were that important." So,
It's hard to when you're going through it to, like,
to feel it
actually
and see it.
yeah, to actually sit down and be like, "Oh, I actually do have time to watch a movie or to watch my show or whatever." I had to establish a very
Like, discipline for yourself.
yes, but also, like, from the very beginning of having children, I try to establish a very I mean, it's not strict, but bedtime routine so that
Yeah.
I
Had some time.
have time for myself because it's so important to me. And I know some people are like, "I have no time." You do. Take 5 minutes, think about it, and use whatever time you do have for yourself. It's important. You are important too.
So important, so important, and we don't give ourselves enough credit for that. We don't give ourselves enough grace for those things on it. But you are important. You are so much more important than you can ever imagine, and your importance is so important to other people. So wear the clothes. Wear those clothes that you bought for it because I promise you it makes you better. It makes you feel good. When I put heels on, something's happening. And so but I do, I feel so much better. I feel so much about myself that it's a power thing for me, and it makes me feel more like I have more ability to do things and go out and do those things with it, and it's so important. So, I highly encourage you to do just those little things just to make you you, because that side of you is so important to everyone. There's thousands and thousands of us that are out there as empty nesters or solo caregivers or women in transitions that are navigating evenings quietly and ever so courageously because it is very courageous that we get up and we continue and we intentionally keep going, not only for ourselves, but for our families or children's or our pets. If we turn those tables into something different, like a gathering place or share a ritual or what makes you whole again? What makes you feel better? If you guys could go to Empty Nest Moms with an S on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, and we'll put some stuff out there, and send us what your ritual is. Send us what helps you. Send us what makes you feel better. Your story could just help another mom. If this isn't the end, and it's not, even though it feels like it is not. It only feels like it some nights when that table is quiet, when those phone calls are not coming in, when the leftovers are too much, and your kids send a one-word text to you, and it absolutely shatters you and breaks your heart. They didn't their intention is not the same. It is not the same, but this moment when you feel those things, it's not a conclusion, and it is not the end. It's a pause. It's a breath between what was and what can still be. Sometimes we forget that we were their age once as well. And I think we forget how much we craved that freedom, how we fumbled life, and how hard we fought. And some of us are still fighting that hard to find our voice without losing the people around us that we love and that we want there. And that's hard. And our kids, they're not trying to hurt us. It's not intentional. Even the littles, when they say things, it's not intentional. They're just trying to figure out. And probably while we're eating, they're eating their instant noodles or drinking out of their coffee cup that they had for the last 2 days while they're, in college. Or maybe they're even trying to Google the laundry so that they don't have to call us to say that they still need us. We're wanting them to need us, and they're trying to do as much as they can to stay away from us. And while they're figuring it out, what if we tried to figure out something as well for us as empty nesters? What have you always wanted to do? What got lost? What got lost in while you were cooking dinner or the carpool lines or well, this right now, this time is for you to remember those things. This is the time for you to come back and think, what is it? What was it that I want? What was it that I griped all those years about and thought, oh, when I finally get the chance, now's your chance. Now. right now. Right now is your time to reclaim those things. So for me, light the candle, play that music, eat the banana split for dinner. Or is that just me? But I do it. Use the good dishes. Pull the dress out that you've always wanted to wear because you bought it 10 years ago and it still has the tags. You know who I'm talking to. The tags are still on it. Cut those bad boys off. Put that dress on. I don't even care if you just go to McDonald's in it. Call me. I'll go to McDonald's with you in it. And then maybe you could help us out and share this episode with someone who really needs to know these things. She's not only the one Googling how to be out there crying and not crying when your kids are calling and you're in the empty nest and you're in the middle of it. Let's build this community. One story, one laugh, one quiet table at a time. Let's do that because we all matter. We as moms matter. We belong. This chapter is not our end. It's the soft beginning of something beautifully ours. And we are trying to figure that out also. We are trying to figure that out alone. We are trying to figure that out together. Some spouses, I'm sure for you guys, understand that and are there, but there's others where it doesn't happen that way. And you are sitting there wondering, am I doing what is right? Am I doing what is right for me? What is my next move? What is it that I really want? And that is okay. It is okay to feel that way. But I have also been reading a lot on the herbal teas lately and experimenting. Like I have a whole apothecary now. So I have the jars and I will put some pictures in and show everyone. But I have the jars and made my own apothecary so that I could blend my teas so that if I wasn't feeling well, then I can go for each ailment that I have.
If you want to learn more about how Mandy made her apothecary shelf, go to our TikTok. It will be there.
It will be there. But little things like that really do excite me. And I don't feel like I'm doing those things alone because those are things that I really enjoy and I want to do. So for me, that's been an outlet with it. So, you know, I have always been completely comfortable in my own skin. And I've often joked, oh, I love myself because I could always just up and go do anything I wanted on my own and it never bothered me. I quite enjoy it. But I do feel the longing to have and show my kids and or people who are close to me those things. So what I miss doing with my kids or their friends and seeing them is I miss seeing life through their eyes. I miss taking them, to the amusement parks or whatever. I mean, we would often take other people with us to see different places. We drove a lot and did, a lot of different things, but I really enjoy seeing those views that they see and letting them, see different things and be happy and showing the emotion. And here's the part that makes me smile, even though it stings when my kids call. They don't really wanna hear about my life. Yeah, I mean, because everyone's in the thick of it or they've got their own things going on. They don't wanna hear those things, but they wanna share theirs. So, I love every second of that, even if it's only 10 minutes. And even if it sometimes is them choosing others over me, which happens a lot and it hurts. Don't get me wrong. Yes, it does. It hurts. But sometimes it even brings me tears. Sometimes that's me verbally telling myself that it's okay, even if it's me looking in the mirror and saying, that's okay, which I did learn from a therapist that I saw earlier in life, and so I've held that and continue doing those things. It was very helpful. Finding new rituals. Maybe it's music for the plants. Maybe it's a tea experiment or, it could be journaling, any of those tiny rituals that you could do throughout the day that could help you and take up your time because that's really what it is we have too much time on our hands or our thoughts or, lingering with it. And maybe in watering our plants or sipping those new teas, we discover where we're growing as well. So the other night I sat down and I made a list of things that I wanted to do or I wanted to start. I was feeling incredibly sad, incredibly lonely, and thinking, what is this next part of life? Where does this next part of life take me? What should I do? Maybe I should not have felt guilty about them, but I did. And so I made this list. And so I want to encourage all moms to make a small list of things that look at or might inspire them or something to keep them in line with where they're at. And so I was going to share my list that I made. So I want to learn to dance. I have always wanted to learn to dance. And it's not just dance and whatever, but I want to do the tango and I want to do line dancing. I would love to square dance, maybe all three of those things. I don't know that I'm that graceful or I might look like a stomping gorilla. I have no idea, but it's on my list and I want to try it. And okay, this one is going to be super crazy, but I want to learn to bartend. Okay, this is funny. I don't even drink, but when I was young, I watched the movie Cocktail with Tom Cruise, and that was the coolest thing. And they're throwing all the stuff around and doing it. I want to learn to bartend.
Yeah, the movie that made me want to learn how to bartend is Coyote Ugly.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen
Never seen it.
Oh my
No.
gosh, we're gonna have a movie night
Yeah.
because that one's so good.
But if you've ever watched the Tom Cruise one or the Coyote Ugly one, and you want to bartend and you know a place to go, tell me. I'll go. Will I not? So they're flipping those bottles, doing all that thing. I just think that's the coolest thing ever. And somewhere that I genuinely want to go is to Bar Harbor, Maine. So I've never been a ton up in that East Coast side with it, but I want to see lighthouses. I want the coastline. I want the lobster rolls. I want to see, the bay areas and the boats. And I don't know, it just something about that just calls to me, those small town and stuff. So I would love to hear from moms on areas that we should check out there because we could go there and see those things. But that's one of mine. I know this is super quirky, but I love Bits and Boom. I think he is so fun. I love his energy. I love his little flip thing. And I loved it when he did that award show and he stood up and he walked out. I think he is super fun. So Benson, I want to see you. And then this is another silly one, but I want to see Pink in concert. I absolutely 100% love that woman. I think she is one of the strongest women that I have ever seen. I think she has been judged. I think she has been through hell and back. I think she's a boss and she does an amazing job. I think she raises those kids. She never apologizes for things. She goes straight in, does what she feels best. I may not agree with all of her views, but I respect her and I think she's done a phenomenal job. And from what I've seen, has put on some of the best concerts. And I just would love, love, love to see Pink.
That's so funny because, my sister and I, when Benson was touring, like, a couple months ago,
Yeah.
we looked everywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we looked everywhere. We were going to buy tickets. We wanted to do it in Denver
Yeah.
and go from there, and
Those are my 2 people that I would
I
if anyone knows me, I'm not a concert goer. I don't think anyone is better than me. I don't really feel like paying a bunch of money, to someone to do those things. But those 2 people, there's something about it that I like.
I would also love to see Pink
Oh,
because she just puts on one of the best
and
shows.
she's you know, not old by any means, but her thoughts and the way that she does, I love her stance on how she acts and reacts and doesn't react, honestly. But these are not things that I see as a bucket list item. I don't like the bucket list term. They're just dreams or sparks that I have that get me excited about things. And that I think as moms that we forget that we can have those too. We can do those. We can do those things. We can have sparks. We can be excited about things. So I want to challenge you as moms to make that list. Share that list with us. There may be moms that can help make some of those things happen. There may be groups of moms that we could get together and do things. We are totally, totally all about that community. So, big or small, write it down for yourself, send it out. Let's, just kind of go as a community and see where we can get. What have you always wanted to try? Even if you never do it, what was it? You may be 80. What was it? That's fine. You may get the opportunity. So write it down because naming it helps. Saying it out loud helps. So I'd love to hear your list. Share one thing that you've always wanted to do and tag the Empty Nest Moms on Instagram or send us a message because who knows? We may be inspired to come find you and take you to do it. And there you have it, moms. My list of little adventures that I still want to try. Will I ever actually do them? Honestly, yes, I will. But who knows? Will I ever bartend like Tom Cruise in Cocktail? I think I will. I just need to find somewhere to do that at, but I will do it. And I will do it the best that I can. Will I drop the bottles? Probably, heck yeah. Will I drop the glasses? Yep, probably so. But I'm going to try it. But here's the point. It's not about being perfect or even following through on everything that you do, every little thing. It's about remembering who you are and that your dreams are just as important as anyone else's. And speaking of dreams, we have something very exciting to share. We're starting our very own Empty Nest Mom Facebook community, a space where all moms can laugh, cry, swap stories, share our lists, and maybe even cheer each other on as we actually do some and all of these fun adventures. So come hang out with us because your nest might be empty, but our stories and our laughter and our second acts, they are just getting started. And who knows, maybe I'll see you at the Pink or the Benson Boone concert. Front row, ugly crying, right along with me. So if you've got your own list, I'd love to hear it. Share it with me because I promise you, I am probably already cheering you on from the sideline. Oh, and hey, don't forget to follow us on
Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, and LTK.
We give daily encouragements, laughs, and a little spark of inspiration. And if this episode has made you feel seen, hit the like and subscribe button for the podcast so that you never miss a moment. We have got lots of important guests coming so that we have real conversations, a lot of them coming your way soon. And best of all, we're starting our very own The Empty Nest Mom Facebook community, a place just for us moms where we can swap stories, we can post our lists, we can cry and remind each other that our nest may be empty, but we're just getting started. So come join us because life is too short not to have just a little bit of fun. Even if you're learning to tango in the living room or ugly crying on the front row of that Pink concert.